The phone rang while I was supposed to be dead. A sharp, impatient ring, then another. "If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes," my daughter-in-law snapped over the line, breathless, irritated, already rehearsed in disrespect. I looked out over Lake Geneva. Glass walls, white stone, silence that cost more than her entire house. "Enjoy," I said, and ended the call. I sent one photo. The villa, morning lights sliding over marble, my reflection faint in the glass. The phone exploded. 71 missed calls in 8 minutes. I didn't answer any. They had buried me 6 months ago, not with dirt, worse, with paperwork, signatures, condolences whispered too quickly. A convenient death, a heart attack in a foreign clinic, closed casket, no viewing. My wife cried perfectly. My best friend held her hand when she collapsed. I watched it all from a distance. I had needed them to believe it, because grief loosens mouths and greed sharpens them. I turned the phone face down and waited. The dead don't rush. When I planned my disappearance, I didn't plan betrayal. I expected indifference, maybe relief, not intimacy. From the shadows of a rented apartment 2 streets away from my own funeral, I saw him, my best friend, unlock my front door with the spare key I'd trusted him with for 20 years. I saw her answer it barefoot. No hesitation, no surprise, just familiarity. That was the moment something inside me cooled into focus. I told myself stories, that grief made people strange, that comfort blurred boundaries, that I was projecting my own paranoia onto innocent gestures. But patterns don't lie. His car stayed overnight. Her laughter returned too quickly. My name vanished from her vocabulary. She redecorated the bedroom, donated my clothes, erased. I replayed old conversations in my head, little jokes I'd ignored, lingering glances, the way he always defended her when we argued. I had been alive then, blind. The official story was that my accounts were frozen pending probate. She played the grieving widow publicly, while privately complaining to lawyers about delays. She called my children to complain about being left with nothing. I listened. The affair wasn't just emotional, it was logistical. Dead men observed differently. I didn't confront, I collected. Phone records came first. He was careless, still using the same number. Hundreds of calls between them before my death, late nights, early mornings. I traced travel. Hotel stays aligned too perfectly to be coincidence. I paid for data quietly, through shell accounts I'd built years ago for other reasons, old habits. Then I watched. I sat in cafes across the street from my former life, cap pulled low, face altered just enough. I saw him sit in my chair, wear my robe, drink from my mug. I cataloged details the way surgeons catalog organs, dates, times, touches. Externally, I stayed dead. Internally, I sharpened. I transferred assets while the estate was stalled. Switzerland doesn't ask many questions when you arrive with preparation. I moved before rumors could, before guilt turned into panic. The villa wasn't indulgence, it was leverage. Every move was deliberate, every silence intentional. I wanted the truth clean, undeniable, documented. Revenge is best served without haste. The final confirmation arrived in a slim envelope. DNA. Not from me, from my youngest son. A precaution I'd taken years earlier, stored quietly, compared against samples taken recently, under the guise of medical necessity. He wasn't mine. The air left my lungs without drama. It explained everything, the timing, the urgency, the need to remove me without blood. I invited them to Switzerland. Resurrection requires theater. They arrived nervous, rehearsed. She cried when she saw me alive, real tears. Fear does that. He went pale, said my name like it was a curse. I didn't hug her. I poured wine. I slid the envelope across the table. "Read," I said. She collapsed into sound. He tried to speak, failed. I watched them unravel like badly tied knots. I felt nothing. That was the shock. "I knew," I said calmly, "before you did." They stared. I explained without emotion, the frozen accounts, the transferred assets, the updated wills. The trusts now benefiting people who shared my blood, and charities that shared my values. Not her, not him. The house they lived in? Sold. The business I'd left him? Never transferred. The child support she'd planned to demand? Irrelevant. I showed them the photos, the villa, the view, the life. Her phone buzzed again. Family, friends. The story had spread. The dead man was alive, and very wealthy. I didn't come back for forgiveness, I said. I came back for accuracy. I left them at the table, wine untouched. Power doesn't need witnesses.
Now the lake is still again. The phone no longer rings. They lost more than money. They lost the narrative, the version of themselves where they were clever, untouchable. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't threaten. I simply returned. Death had taught me restraint, distance, precision. I don't hate them. Hate requires attachment. I am free of that now. Some people survive betrayal. Others are rebuilt by it. I was already dead. Coming back was easy.